Sorry there, boys. Nothing I can do about it, eh? It's not my decision. It's coming from the top. Probably going to get laid off next week myself, eh? Best figure out something else soon, fellas. This might last a while there.
Oh my god, what am I gonna do? Oh my god, my wife's gonna leave me this time for sure. What am I gonna do?
Can't believe we all just got laid off in the middle of a fucking housing crisis. Jeez.
I thought we were way behind. I thought we needed more houses and that we needed to catch up.
Oh, be a carpenter, they say. Be a carpenter in Canada, you never run out of the work, they say. What the fuck?
How the fuck am I supposed to pay my rent next month?
You're still paying rent? I stopped paying my rent 5 months ago. My landlord can't do a thing. Just gonna wait for the landlord-tenant board hearing and then pack my bags up and move right before.
Hey, did you guys see the videos on the TikTok with the people waiting in the lines for the jobs? Like, it's crazy. What the fuck we gonna do, man?
I was thinking of becoming a realtor.
Yeah, me too.
All of these fucking stinking immigrants are gonna take all of our Canadian jobs, eh? What the fuck?
Or the robots.
Or the aliens?
Oh my god, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna lose the car, I'm gonna lose the house, I'm gonna lose the pool, I'm gonna lose the wife, I'm gonna lose the girlfriend, I'm gonna lose everything. Oh my god, what am I gonna do? Oh shit, it's my wife, what am I gonna do? Oh my god.
Don't answer that.
What are you doing? Are you crazy?
Oh my god, it's my wife. What am I gonna do, guys? Hello? Oh, honey, how you doing? Yeah, no, everything is great. It's not like we're gonna lose everything or something. Sorry, I can't hear you. I gotta... The bug.
Maybe we could start a podcast. Seems like any putz could do it these days. You just need a microphone.
Maybe we should become home inspectors. Any idiot can become a home inspector. All you need is a hard hat, clipboard, and a TikTok channel.
Maybe I could start one of those OnlyFans pages. All you need is for a little bit of, you know.
Or maybe it's time for the Canadian Real Estate Show.
Live from Calgary, Alberta.
TK.
The labor laws.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get
Oh
reported.
my god, who was
Holy
that
smokes.
little midget at the beginning? What was,
He was
that
the
on there?
foreman on the site. You know, they have to hire younger and younger these days.
I guess so that
Right?
they
We're
can-
running out of labor
yeah.
apparently.
There's a labor
That's what they're saying.
shortage,
Labor shortage.
and there's too much labor now.
And there's
This
too much
is-
labor. Doesn't make
Oh.
any sense, you know? I
Does
still think we got
anything-
enough people who are ready to, when the economy changes, all right, when everybody doesn't have a job and that you can't work from home and you can't go and get your cushy, fancy, white collar job that you were hoping to get because you got a university degree and your wife's got, you know, 2 kids at home under 2 or 3 and she's yelling at
working
you because
3
you're
jobs.
you're not making enough money. You're going to pick up a hammer and you're going to go start building houses. All right.
There's
No
some
such thing
guys
as a
that just
labor
won't, man.
shortage.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, I don't understand what's going on at all, to be honest with you. You got lineups for people out the door at malls for jobs. Like, have you seen these videos? I
No.
don't like
I'm
what.
not-
First of all, what's so great a job that there's so many people lining up for it, right?
Maybe
like,
you get like 50% off at like Lululemon or something, you know?
I don't know. I think it was
So-
like a security job or something, but like,
Security job.
what I don't see.
Look, people line up for jobs. Like if you have a really good job and you got like 100 positions and you're like, all right, everybody come to
Who the hell has
Yorkdale
100
Saturday at
positions?
3 p.m. because we're about to hire a bunch of new people. You're going to have a lineup. And then some guy films it, puts it on Twitter. He's like, people are lining up for jobs.
Right. Meanwhile, it's for like the new
It's like
frozen
every one of those
yogurt
people
place.
ended up getting the job. They only had 100 positions. 80 people showed up.
Yeah, it was
Don't
for
believe what
like
you read online, man.
actors. It's for background actors for something.
Every one of them got a job.
So
All
so
good.
I see that the average price somehow is up.
This is what happened.
Can you explain to me what's
It's a
going
very
on here? 'Cause
simple mathematical.
let's back up a
anomaly
sec
here.
though. Like it
What?
doesn't feel like So average price in the market has
It didn't
gone
go
up, right?
Average price of the market didn't. Average
Didn't
home
go
did
up.
not increase in value.
Did
That's
not.
a better way to word it.
Mhm.
Because we had such little sales. So overall, there's this huge bundle of sales that are happening. It's shrinking, it's shrinking, it's shrinking, it's shrinking. But the people who aren't affected by interest rates, the people who have the money, the higher net worth people, the people who are buying for whatever reasons, a bunch of different reasons, they're buying more expensive properties because they have the money to do so, right? They still transacted.
So they're propping up the numbers.
So because that many more, the share of higher end properties that was sold were higher end properties. It's a higher share of higher end properties was sold. It means that the average price will appear to be higher.
Are we in a skit right now?
No.
Are you doing shtick?
Am I wearing a fake mustache?
What the fuck is that bullshit? That's a
What do you-
bunch of. This is what all the realtors are saying right now.
If last month
That
three
means,
houses
like-
sold, if 3 houses sold last month,
That's a bunch of shit. That means
and they
like
were all
no.
and they were all $1 million, the average sale
I
price was $1
get the
million.
theory, but that
And
means
the
no
next month,
lower priced houses.
If 2
sold.
houses sell and one was 2 million and one was 1 million, the
Yeah.
average price is now 1.5.
Hold on. So like 1,000 under 800 sold, and then like
When you only have
over 14
4,000
million
sales,
sold?
it's
Yeah.
easier for that number to skew the average prices. It's easier for those higher end to infiltrate. When you got 10,000 sales,
So this is
those
bad.
200 high end sales don't really matter.
This
But
is
when there's
bad.
only 4,000
then, right?
sales, it matters more.
But so this is bad because that means like the guys that were thinking they were getting these big bucks didn't get the big bucks for sure, right?
Mhm.
And then that means that it has to be a ton of like cheaper shit as part of the mix. Like, how do you get to that one? What was the number again? Like, how do you get to that average price if we're blaming it on all these higher end homes that are all selling
Regardless,
for
it
like
doesn't matter.
$7-12 million?
But when those higher end homes are selling, because I've been looking at a lot of them this
But they're
last
not
week,
even selling.
the ones that are selling, it's like
Yeah.
asking price 5.3, sold 4.5.
3.7, right? Yeah.
Like it's a huge discount because
This
the
is
people with money are just
fucked.
like, wait a second. This is an opportunity for me to now go and get the house I want because I don't need a mortgage.
I don't even know why you want to go move
rich city.
into a nice neighborhood anymore. Did you see our friend Jason, who
Yeah.
who's coming in, I think next week again, if not next week, the week after.
He's coming in soon.
His mom lives in a really nice area. Like she lives in Rosedale, and she was attacked by a homeless person, and she broke her wrist and had a black eye as a result of the mugging in Rosedale.
I hope she's okay, and I hope
She's
that,
okay. She's okay.
She's not scared to go outside, and that she recovers 100%. But if I'm a homeless
she's got
mugger,
a mask. She's okay.
If I'm a homeless mugger, I'm probably going to go do it in Rosedale.
Well,
that seems like the place to go and do
that. There's a whole
you know?
encampment in Rosedale.
Right?
Like,
So,
what the fuck is
if I'm
going on?
if I'm homeless, I'm moving to Santa Barbara and I'm living under the pier down by the ocean front on the beach. But if I can't get there, I might be thinking about
going there.
Something in Rosedale.
I guess that's like the next logical place.
Seriously, why would you want to be one of the less attractive neighborhoods?
So, but the people in Rosedale have banded together for years and have been very successful at making sure developers and development is not successful in Rosedale, but they can't get rid of the tent city.
The homeless people don't show up to the community consultation
and
meetings.
they don't give a fuck,
right?
They don't listen.
They just don't reply.
So who's got this
they're
thing
of no
right?
fixed address. What's
These
going on?
guys
Do we
are
have
like-
our guest ready to go today or what?
Yeah, of course. This guy's ready and
We'll bring him-
raring to go.
We'll bring him in and we'll talk about all the stuff we need to talk about.
Well, before we do, TK, this is a perfect time to get people to subscribe to the channel and
Absolutely.
join the 5,000 other people. TK, we did it. We have 5,000
We have
people
over
that are like
5,000 people
willing.
subscribed. Yeah.
We kind of blew past 5,000. We're closer to 6,000 now than we are to 5,000. If you
don't know
don't
if I
believe
believe
you can
that.
go backwards. Yeah,
But,
you can go backwards.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you can't go backwards.
If you can't go backwards, we're
5,020
way
is
closer to 6,000, right?
6,000. Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
This
good.
is math. Yeah, so subscribe, help us
Jump
out
on
because
that.
the goal wasn't 5, it was 6,000. Remember, TK? We got to get to
I don't even
6,000
know what
by
the goal is
December.
now. I'm pretty sure I said something.
Baz, we want to get that sweater,
Mm.
right? So subscribe to the
Moving
channel,
target.
5K. Don't forget about the Clips channel, right? The Clips channel's on fire. That thing is doing better than this channel.
Yeah,
So go
like
check
if you're
out the
already
Clips
sick
channel.
of us talking because
Yeah.
you're like 8 minutes in,
That's
you're
perfect.
better off just to go to the Clips channel because it's a lot easier content to digest.
Yes. And don't forget, now we have a TikTok and we have a Twitter channel or whatever the hell it's called, a X.
Yeah, but if you're here
thing,
already,
feed.
you don't need to see those.
You don't need any of that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And most importantly, Wednesday, October 11th, 2 p.m. There's a webinar for Cranson Capital for those of you that may or may not be interested in the deal of a lifetime.
Yeah, check out the link.
Check
I
out
don't know what else to tell
links
you.
to
The
everything.
people who are involved in this are all very experienced and they know exactly what to look for in deals, and they're all like chomping at the bit to get in. So
It is
no promises,
fantastic.
but get on the registry, get in the webinar, and check it out.
Yeah, lots of links below. Lots of links below. Now we have Marty. This guy's funny.
Please subscribe. And
Well, are you a real estate agent and you're looking to make a change anywhere in Ontario? Guess what? We're hiring. Franklin Associates, #1 team in the GTA for all REMAX teams, #1 team for all teams from all companies for number of units sold throughout Toronto. So if you're looking to make a change, best decision I ever made was to join Franklin Associates. Go to jointeamleo.com and we can set up a call.
Hey, is it just me or is it getting crazy here? Huh?
This guy is like a big time TikToker. But what's great
Pretty
is
much
he's
like
in,
our best avenue to find guests is TikTokers.
lately. It
They
has
all,
been.
they all
Si-
say yes when you ask them to join.
Since I got banned from Twitter, I had to find a new pool of resources to.
Mm.
But these guys are
You
more
know,
willing
you know
to
your
join
life's right on
skits
track when
and
you
have
get banned
fun,
from Twitter.
right? This is exactly where you want to be.
Yeah.
Banned from Twitter and trying to figure out TikTok.
And
That's
now
my
working on
life.
TikTok. Marty,
This-
how's it going? Can you hear me?
well,
we
Yep.
can hear you.
Hey,
welcome.
perfect. How's it going this morning?
So far, so good. How about you?
Fantastic.
It's
Beautiful
early
sunny
there or
day
it's
out here in
late
Calgary.
there?
you look familiar, like you were maybe in the intro skit today.
Yeah.
Do you work at a construction site by any chance?
Well, it's possible. I've been on them before.
Yeah. Swinging a hammer? What leads to someone swinging a hammer? What's going on when someone's about to pick up a hammer and start pounding it into, pieces of wood? What's the thought process there?
Canada?
In Canada,
in
right?
Canada. It has to be a
Is that
different
about
thought
passion or is
process.
it like, I need to make some money and I'm going to go swing this hammer to
Well,
feed
let's be
myself,
honest. So I'm originally from the East Coast, and it was definitely about making some money.
right? Because you looked at all the other options. You're like, you know what? Swinging that hammer right now is going to give me the most amount of money in the fastest amount of time. That's what I'm going to go do.
It's also the most amount of satisfaction to go and smash something.
There you go. Right?
Ah.
There's
I never
a
thought
little bit
about
of
that.
A, a little bit of B, right? But
So
what we were
with the new
talking
nail
about is
guns,
just
though, do you get to do that? Does that
it's
eliminate
even
that?
more
Is
satisfactory.
that even better?
It's
You feel like
even a little more,
Rambo.
but now the problem is instead of, let's say back in the day when I started, you had to actually hammer every nail in and you maybe put 3 or 4 nails in something. Now they'll put 30.
30, and most of them don't hit the target. They just go through
Oh.
something.
I would say that by the time Darryl and I got a nail in, that nail gun's going to have about 200 nails somewhere else,
Yeah.
and because ours would be all crooked and stuff, we'd have to restart, I admire those guys who can just boom, 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 with the hammer. Those guys got skills.
Well, I mean, honestly, right now with the way construction's going in Calgary, you guys would fit right in with missing most of the nails. It's all good.
Perfect. But you just got to give them a nail gun. See, this is what we're talking about. Technology solves these labor issues. Everyone thinks, oh, the guys don't know how to lay tile. Do you know what kind of tricks they've got now to lay tile? They got the lasers. They got those little clips that evens everything out.
And
You
they
can
still can't fucking do
You
it
can
right.
lay tile for the first time in your life and do a half decent job, because of all the improvements in technology. I'm telling you, this is what
In theory,
direction we're heading in.
yeah. When the robots get a hold of it, the problem is still the humans are involved in the process, right? And most of them, as Marty's whole channel can attest to, don't give a fuck, right? Like I watch his videos, and some of the stuff these guys like try and pull is unbelievable.
I mean,
Yeah,
we did a
really,
new home. We did a new
It
home
makes you wonder
inspection.
now with the new construction, especially just even like the skill level of the trades that we're dealing with. and the fact that the builders are not keeping track of, who's actually working on the site and doing any accountability prior to, the homeowner taking it and then us showing up. I mean, some of
Right.
the stuff that we're finding never should have made it to the point that it's at right now.
So what we're going to find is we're going to find houses that were built, finished and occupied in 2020, 21, 22, maybe 23, that are going to be the worst built houses we've ever seen, because the builder sold them back in 2018 or 19, thinking that his costs were going to be X, and he got a certain price and he had a contract with the buyer. And then as time went on and the pandemic hit and his building costs in some cases doubled, right? They say it's an average of 35% or whatever. But if you really look at some of the costs, some of them doubled. And they cut every corner they could to finish those houses. So the houses that you're inspecting now and that I've had a couple of dealings with recently are some of the worst finished houses I've ever seen because of the situation. Right. And we got to be careful.
And honestly, the bigger problem with it all is the fact that we don't have the skilled trade base anymore that we had 20 years ago.
Mhm.
So 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you could actually start a trade while you were in high school, right? And then they took all of that out of the school education system. And now all the baby boomers have retired. And now we're looking at a trade base that's starting at between 20 and 24 years old. So a lot of that high education trade of the old guys who were around, they never got to pass that knowledge down. And everybody was pushed to universities and out of the trades. And then now we're paying the consequences for it now.
Yeah. And I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, I was a builder a long time ago. And even before I was a builder, I worked for other builders, and I actually ran a considerable amount of framing crews. And the amount of stuff that went on, like, you got to build the same house like 100 times almost. And the amount of different ways people come up with to frame the exact same plan on the same foundation in the same street is unbelievable. And it's like you're saying, that the skilled pool has never been there. There might have been guys at the top of the pool who gave a fuck more than now, because I remember before, like, no, it was like a Wild West. Maybe it's different in Calgary than Toronto, or the timing of things changes, but I'm talking 20 years ago. Like, it was the Wild West, and you were going and seeing, like, some of these houses, if you put roller skates on, you'd roll right out the front door, right? So I don't know if it's a skilled issue. I think it's more like there's just more construction and still no skill.
Well, and it's a desire now to actually want to do the quality.
Yeah, who the fuck wants to do it?
That's a big
now?
one. That's a big one there. The,
right?
the pride in the work. Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, it was kind of like when I started in the trades, the idea was that I was going to show up every day, put my time in, do my job to the best of my ability with the hope of making more money. Right. I wanted to show that, I'm going to show up on time every day. I'm going to be there late every day. I'm going to make sure that, my wall goes up, it's plumb, nails are in the right spot, everything's square, job site's kept clean. Perfect. I do that for a few months. All of a sudden, my boss comes by and says, "Hey, you're doing fantastic work. Here's another dollar an hour." Well, now a lot of it, they want to make that top dollar the second they're out of school without doing the work first.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a massive problem right now. And it's across the country. Right. I'm originally from the East Coast, and it's just as bad back there now as it is out here.
I heard on the sites, right? Just the pride of like, how much work are we going to get done today? Wow, look at how much we finished today. Look at how much we accomplished. Look at, your crew is faster than my crew, like all that kind of stuff. You used to really get projects going fast. And now everyone's just like, you know what? It looks like it might rain today. I think we should leave early. I don't know. I mean, it says on the forecast it might rain. And if we go home and then it starts, we could, have traffic. Let's just leave anyways, just in case. And then it becomes 4-day work weeks and the least amount of work possible every single day. So I don't know. Is it unions? Is that the fault? Is it the unions?
No, it's not even that. It's like it's just profit. It's dollars and cents, and it's like everybody just needs to get more in. Like, I remember guys would be lined up at the Supers trailer, and it's just like he's signing off. He's not looking at the stuff, and it's like, just give me the completion slip, because you get the completion slip means you get paid, right? And we'll fix it later is a big theme in the industry. Like, we don't have to do that now. We'll pass. They'll move in. We'll get the money, and we'll deal with it later, right? Which is great for Marty, because the more and more people need to hire him to fight against the system that doesn't work for the people, right?
Let's
Well, the
introduce
system
Marty
right now
first.
is-
Marty, let's
it's
just
designed
figure
to
out,
be gained for the employed. Sorry.
tell people who you are and what you do. That way, because people won't know.
So I'm a certified master inspector out here in Calgary, Alberta. We run an inspection company, and we, do post-possession inspections. We do, pre-list inspections. But right now, a lot of our business is running off of, brand new construction. So we'll come in. Some builders will allow us to come in early, which is great. And they kind of look at it like a third party coming in just to double check on their work, and they'll take that as a deficiency list to make sure that it's done prior to the owner's taking occupancy. And then other times we'll go in basically right after occupancy in that first week and do a full inspection, and then provide a very disheartening list to the buyer of the home.
To the
You
buyer,
notice our
not to the
backgrounds today.
builder.
Eh? We're in Calgary too, just so you know.
We flew
Sorry.
over. So,
You notice our backgrounds today. We're in Calgary too.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, just
Ours is
pointing that out,
behind
right?
you.
Just wanted to
Yeah.
make you feel at home.
Perfect.
But do you notice that it's worse on the new construction than it is on the renovations? Or
It really depends. I mean, we've got some fantastic builders, and even with that, I mean, everybody's always asking us out here, well, who's a good builder, who's a bad builder? Well, the way the builders are set up now, you might have one builder working in 20 different neighborhoods. And, they might be not doing great in 3 of the 20 neighborhoods. Well, it doesn't mean it's a bad builder as a whole. It just means they've got bad crews and bad supervision in that particular neighborhood. So that part's always kind of tricky on our end. Apart from the renovations, it's the infills in Calgary right now that are the bane of everyone's existence. So, and what the infill is, I'm sure you guys have the same in Toronto. They'll come and buy a smaller property, inner city, knock it down, and put a big duplex up. And then now that duplex, each side will sell for 1.3, 1.4 million, and it's finished like a doghouse. It's terrible.
Somebody from Toronto is going to buy it. Yeah, I got a site. I got
Sight
a
unseen.
property. I got a property where it was renovated, and the owner bought the property, did the whole entire renovation, no permits. So
Perfect.
underpinning,
Oh my God.
HVAC, electrical, structural, deck, like you name it, right? So we get the listing, we sell the property to somebody, they do an inspection, and then they come back to us because it looks really good. When you look at everything, you're just like, okay, the house is renovated, it looks nice. Inspector came back and was just like, this place is absolutely finished to hell. And so don't buy it. Buyer backed out, right? A couple weeks later, we're still trying to sell it. She gets a work order on the property from the city saying, hey, somebody called in and found out that, you didn't have the permits yet. So we took the property off the market. She got the permits. She fixed the things. We're looking to get it sold now. We're working on it. But she found out from the city inspector when he came back, it was an agent who called to report the work that was not done without a permit. So some bitter agent,
that
for
happened to
whatever
me.
reason, called the city to say, hey, go and check out this lady. She didn't get a permit, and she did everything she could by the book. There was things missing that the home inspector picked up. There's more just aesthetic stuff that was sloppy. But at the end of the day, she's getting it all fixed, and she has to now. There's a work order.
That's how I got busted building illegal houses by Terrion back in like 2008. Like it wasn't bad enough that the whole market was crumbling on top of me. Like I pissed off the agent that had the house listed, and he called Terrion on me, and I got busted. I had to deal with all of that crap to get my Terrion to sell the houses as the prices are plummeting. Like, it's so crazy. But yeah, you don't want to piss off an agent. That's for sure, especially in a down market.
Yeah.
Everybody's so happy in an up market. All these things are not as big a deal when the prices are going
making
up,
money.
right?
Yeah.
But that's what's interesting. Calgary, the prices are still going crazy. Sales are still going crazy. Like there's no down market in Calgary right now, is there?
Well, we seem to be in our own little bubble out here right now. And then, the big thing for us with all our permitting out here is everybody assumes that the city actually steps foot in every single property. And the city will take basically a base average from the builder in a neighborhood. They don't have the manpower to go in and out of every single property. So if a builder is building 10 homes on a street, maybe 3 or 4 of those homes actually had the city walk through them. The rest of them will just get a blanket sign off if it's the same trades.
Depends on the inspector. Like
Wow.
I remember
Yeah.
I would have an inspector who would like check every single bolt and make sure, and he would mark down like bolt on this, like on this piece of wood is like needs to be tightened, and like throughout the whole house. And then I had guys who would come in and go, "Hey guys, I'm here. Okay, have a nice day." Right. And just
Yeah.
leave. And he did the inspection. And it's like,
Well,
Like-
we saw recently a report that says that right now there are less homes under construction currently than there were in May 2020, basically at the like the end of the world moment for COVID, right? When everyone was basically like, whoa, 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 hold back. Something's happening. There's
Mhm.
less houses under construction now than that point. So how does that affect the inspectors now? Are the inspectors, do they have more times on their hand? Are they going to start, making those inspections a little bit better as far as city inspectors, home inspectors now, like, are you guys doing less inspections? The market obviously is booming right now in Calgary.
Calgary,
maybe
yeah.
more, but in Ontario, there's going to be less, right? I'm talking about Ontario too, actually. I don't know about Canada.
Yeah.
But those type of things, right? When you look at it, you say, okay, well, how does that impact the construction industry? And there's so many different dialogues. What do you think's going on right now with divorces? Right now, a divorce, I heard this week, a divorce resolution company.
Where'd this come
their
from?
business? How do you think it's doing right now?
Booming, bro. Booming.
Probably booming
Marty?
since COVID. Booming.
It's slower than ever.
Slower than ever because
You know
everybody
why?
got divorced in COVID.
People can't afford to get divorced. People are staying together because they're looking at their options and they're saying, right now, if I get divorced and then he takes the house and I got to pay my own bills and then, we got to split
What's
the
the house
kids, and then
worth
we
is
gotta
the
get
problem.
gas, and then we got to they're not getting divorced.
What the
So their
hell's the house
business is
worth?
slower than ever because of the environment.
Really?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So you
It
have these
makes
little
sense when you
dynamics in the
think-
market. Like you don't think
After
about
you
them.
hear the answer, it makes sense. But before he said the answer, it was the opposite that I thought. Right?
Exactly.
You too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's kind of weird. So okay. So why the hell is Calgary so busy right now? Is really like, is everybody there from Toronto or Ontario? Do you have a lot of new people there?
So we can get into a new neighborhood, and basically that entire street of a new neighborhood will be half BC and half Ontario.
For real?
Right? It's just
What about
everybody
India?
coming here.
What about
It's
India?
still-
Is the other
it's,
side of the street Indian?
possibly.
I'm not joking. I'm not trying to be racist or anything either, but like there seems to be a lot more Indians here in Toronto, that's for sure. And I've seen charts that prove the theory is true. Like we've had like 80% of the immigration is from India.
Mhm.
There's a lot. We have whole neighborhoods out in Calgary that are primarily Indian neighborhoods.
Pretty crazy. And a lot of the sub trades must be Indian now.
If
no?
I'm moving to Canada, like I'm going to Calgary. Like I don't have any connections anywhere else. Calgary
Yeah,
kind
why
of looks like
not?
a big city like all the other ones. It has the people are all the same. It's probably
there's
got all the
kind of a
exact same
CN
stores and
Tower.
resources and jobs. They have something that looks like the CN Tower.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
who knows the difference anyways?
And I'm like, prices are half. I'm like, I'm going to Calgary.
And gas is cheaper there, isn't it?
It's I don't know. What do you guys pay there for gas?
It's like $2 a
The
liter. no?
regular
Or
right
definitely
now is
cheaper than that.
150.
Oh,
and change.
regular. Who?
Yeah.
You use regular? I thought every car needs like 91 now. No,
Just the cars that you drive, Joe.
damn, it's a bad move. I'm telling you,
It was bad.
it's a bad idea. Although I remember I used to be really afraid when I used to fill up my Ford F-150 back in the day. I was broke, building houses, tons of cash coming in and out, but like broke, man. The market was going to hell, and filling that thing up was like painful. And you had to stand there for so long because the tank is huge, right? $180 to fill up a tank. This is back in like 2007. World's crumbling. You're standing there like an idiot trying to figure out which credit card you're going to use to pay for gas. Oy. How do people do this on and on and on?
They make do.
Well, it's back to that now. People are just, you see them at the pump every day now, that's even in Calgary. The cost of living has gone up here exponentially in the last couple of years. And, you'll see people at the pump and you can tell they're having that internal conversation of, okay, if I do $20 of this today, then I can go and get $40 worth of groceries and I can make it to I get paid again on Friday. right?
Jesus.
But what are your options though? Like, I mean, Toronto's subway system sucks. I don't know if
So
Calgary
bad.
even has one. And
No,
so
we have
it's
like an overland transit system, right? With
yeah,
the LRT, with the light rail
like
transit,
3
and
stops.
but it doesn't get to every quadrant of the city, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
transit's slow.
What you got to drive. Like we're very like car oriented cities, like the whole country, like Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa,
Yeah, Toronto's probably
Calgary.
the
Like
least.
there's no city that like nailed it where they're like, hey man, maybe we should plan for one day not having to drive a car. Like we just
Yeah.
totally ignored that.
We're building
Yeah.
subways in Ukraine, though.
We ignored
That's
that.
okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
That's okay. We'll send
So-
it all there. Why the hell not? We don't need any money here, apparently. Is there homeless encampments all over the place in Calgary right now?
A lot more so now. And I mean, in our climate here, it's horrible because we'll hit, weeks of -30, -40. But there are more and more encampments all the time. There's a bunch up in Edmonton. And I mean, that you didn't used to see that to the degree that you do now, even 5 years ago.
Did you
They're
see
not
it at
sticking
all?
around
Like
in the winter.
no, where are they going?
Wherever
though?
they're going
Where's
in the winter,
everybody
they should
going?
stay there all summer.
Open borders. Let's go. Everybody's just
Somewhere
going
where
back.
I don't know
and
where they are in the
forth.
winter because they're not in the same spot that they are in the summer. I believe, in my humble opinion, and
Everybody's
very naive, ignorant opinion, is that some people out there do enjoy that lifestyle.
yes. It's
Right? And
probably
that there's some sort of attraction, some romanticization of like, being in the tent in the park and with
fuck
the
the
people.
man. I'm off. The
I'm sure there's lots
grid,
of people
bro.
they don't want to be there and their life is struggling. And believe me, I'm aware that that's not what I'm saying isn't completely true. But there's some people
For
who are
everyone.
just like,
Disclaimer.
yeah, yeah, tent down the park. Then I'm gonna go
It's
sleep
easier.
in my mom's basement for the winter. It's really cold in the winter, but summertime
Well, when I
I
used
want
to
to be out
be
in the
a
park with my people.
superintendent on large job sites, we used to do a lot of temp labor, and you'd hear all the stories from the temp laborers. A lot of them, were coming from the street or coming out of, assisted housing and whatnot. And for a lot of them, they'd show up and work every day, but then they could never make enough money to actually have savings to do first month's, last month's damage deposit. So they're
Right.
basically just stuck in that full loop that they can't get out of. And with the cost of living, it's crazy. And then now in the city, we're converting a bunch of the old high-rise towers downtown to affordable housing. And I actually met a gentleman the other day who's running those projects. And I said, well, what makes it affordable? And he said, well, as long as we're a couple of $100 under the average, then it's considered affordable.
To
Well,
someone.
if the average
Yeah.
keeps going up through the roof, well, it's not very affordable.
Well, the
Yep.
province is now changing that. So there's new legislation where they're now actually going to change the definition of what affordable is. And so what they want to do is they want to be able to make it based more on income. And so then that way they can increase the amount of affordable qualifying units, right? Even though the rent will be higher because it'll be more based geared towards income as opposed to like the market average, which would then qualify those developments for different types of financing or development charge relief and stuff like that. So it'll create more housing overall, but it'll basically just it won't provide a discount to anybody because they have to charge more rent for each unit in order to be able to justify actually building the property and actually getting done. But I have a funny story because you just mentioned the temp worker, and I heard a guy from Newfoundland when he came here, I don't know how many years ago, but at least 20 plus years ago. And he went to the temp agency for work, right? He had $300 in his pocket. He had nothing here. He arrived at Union Station and he had nothing, no connections or anything like that. So he went over to the temp employment office and they said, yeah, we got a job and, show up here at this time. So first thing in the morning, they stick him in a van. He's got no idea where he's going. He's in a van. They could be dropping him off, somewhere where he's not supposed to go, or he may never see his family again. Along the 401, they pull over on the side of the road at Scarborough Town Center. They don't even get off the exit. They just pull over on the side of the road and say, okay, you get out here, hop the barrier, go over to Scarborough Town Center, talk to the janitor. You're making $63 a day. And, good luck to you. And he went there and he just started working every single day till he could afford rent. So he's telling his story like he had his struggles coming from Newfoundland to work here in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
And I think not too many people are willing to do that right now, right? I think a lot of people would be looking at that and saying, well, that's not an opportunity. What are you talking about?
No, they'll wait.
That's how he led to getting the life where he is today, right?
They'll wait in line for hours and think that they did something, right? Or they'll send out a million emails and think that they did something, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no effort. Like lining up for a job is not trying to get a job. When when I used to want to get a job when I was younger, like I got a fucking job, man. And maybe it's not the same now, but I'm pretty sure like the effort is not quite there for a lot of people, because a lot of people I talk to are looking for good labor. They're looking for good people in their operations, right? They're not firing people. Like there's a lot of businesses still going on all cylinders. They're just not
Oh,
in
absolutely. I mean,
construction.
there's a ton of jobs available. It's just people don't want to do the job
Right.
anymore.
It's
Not
like
yet.
housing.
It's a
Right.
shame.
Not yet. Not yet.
Wait.
It's we don't have a
Unemployment
housing
rate's
crisis.
too low. Wait till we get back up to 6+%.
There's plenty of housing that people can buy. They just they can't actually buy it. It's too expensive, right? It's not the right product that's available right now. There's tons of people that would buy something if they actually could right now, right? The demand is there. The supply is dog shit. And the supply just keeps getting more expensive, like TK is saying, because it has to, or it doesn't pencil out, which means it doesn't get built, right? So the only way stuff gets built is if we're pushing those prices higher, or somebody gets decimated when we buy the property, right? Like somehow something has to give, right? But this is the thing, is in order to get affordable on the market, you push the market up, right? Because to keep that bottom part down, you need to get more up here, which you're allowed to do, which is the crazy thing, right? Like you're allowed to
Affordable is
compensate
relative.
for it's such fucking stupidity,
Mhm.
right? So I heard this yesterday and I thought it was so brilliant. It was a George Carlin line. If you think there's a solution, you are a part of the problem. And
Ooh,
TK and
nice.
I have, but this is literally,
Yeah.
TK and I for 3+ years now have been doing this every week, literally trying to figure out something. I mean, it sounds like we're bitching and moaning, we're being goofs, but like we're really trying to figure out, is there a better way to do this? And it's generally the line of questioning, and where we kind of end up with everybody is there's got to be a better way, right? There's got to be a better way. But there doesn't seem to be, again, a willingness to find the better way by the people that matter. And the people that don't matter, we're all busy with our own bullshit to really get around to making them make a difference for us, right? We're like, okay, they're going to run us over with a horse, or they're going to freeze our bank accounts, or like, who the hell knows what they're going to do? Did you see the video of that guy up in Trudeau's face telling him, you motherfucker, you fucked up the whole country? And Trudeau's just standing there like, really? I did? What did I do? Did you see that, TK?
No.
Did you see that, Marty?
That's been floating around.
What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's an honest opinion. I'll give it that.
Honest opinion. What wasn't there a day when I was growing up, like you were afraid to even say something bad about the president of the United States because you thought you would get killed, or some FBI or somebody would come and get you, right?
No, there was respect.
There was
respect for the prime minister
too.
and the president. No matter what your opinion was, you had a higher level of respect for them than pretty much anybody else in the country.
But why didn't somebody tackle that guy?
I think
my question.
George W. Bush,
whether he's right or not,
that's when things started to kind of get out of hand. And then Barack Obama came in, everyone's like, okay, yeah, he's cool. But then Trump really spoiled that, you know? And so then we looked at that and said, hey, you know what? I guess it's okay if you just sort of like punk off your leader, and, you know, they'll deal with it. And now Trudeau has been the butt of many people's jokes, right?
The country is the talk of the world right now, of how fucked up and how bad politically, economically, like our housing bubble, like everything is the talk of all of the. Maybe we're a distraction for all their horse shit right now, but they're all talking about us. And that's scary, because we went from being absolutely the butt end of every joke as an insignificant flea on the side of the United States, right? To being like the poster boy for socialist dictatorship and the wrong way to go. And everybody here like is just like, well, just vote him out. Like, who voted him in?
We'll vote for the other guy.
Vote for the other guy, because yeah, that makes a difference. But no, seriously, like, how was that guy not tackled by security? First of all, why the hell was the
How did
prime
it get so
minister taking
close?
that shit from this guy,
Yeah.
right? Why was he filming his chest too? That's kind of fucking annoying. Like, if you're gonna do it, man, like get the footage, right? How come nobody else got a video of him doing that to the guy? Maybe the whole
Well, there
thing was
has to
a
be another
weird
video.
setup or something. He looked all cracked out too. They're saying Trudeau. He looked all like demented.
I was told
So
yesterday.
funny.
I was told yesterday, actually by one of our listeners, about not being allowed to buy properties in Italy because the way that the Canadians have the ban on foreign buyers, other countries have had reciprocal policies put in place. And so, yeah, well, Canadians can't buy here either.
Really?
And Italy was one of them. And there's other countries too. But this is the type of situation. It's not just Canadians are upset with Trudeau, right? It's
The
that
world
the
seems to
world
be.
seems to be like, we used to go in World War II and we would be sitting there, living, not we, but Canadians in World War II, we would be going in there and everyone
We?
warm welcome Canadians. We would be warm welcoming. We'd get warm welcomed all over the world. You go back after Europe in the 50s, 60s, everyone says you're Canadian, we love you, da 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 da. Right? Like that's how we grew up, right?
Yeah,
Is that
hey, we're the
reputation
nicest people on earth.
of
Hey,
Canada is very
everybody.
high, right?
It's great here.
It feels like that's changing.
Well, they
We're
used to
like,
be able to put the Canadian badge on your backpack and you could travel anywhere and everybody was happy to
That's
see
what
you.
they told me.
now
Right.
they're
What they
happy
said.
to see you, but they just want to talk shit about Trudeau.
But
That's
they
it.
think we're
Everybody.
idiots. Yeah.
No, it's I don't even know what they think we are. Like, nobody's focused on the people. The people are like, I think everybody's just in shock right now with what's going on, including us. I mean, I'm watching it change around me, and I'm like, how did it get like this here? How did this guy get into power, first of all? And now that he's in, nobody likes him. How is he still in power? Like, what the fuck is going on here? And that's the problem with Canada, is we're so fucking tolerant that we'll pay, okay, fine, 40% tax. Okay, fine, 50% tax. Okay, fine, 56% tax. But stop taxing us, please. Okay, fine, 50. You want to change the HST now? Like they're gonna get it from us one way or another here. We just sit here and take it. And then it's like the vaccines and then the mask mandates. And then like, now, what about, I don't know if this affects you. I don't know if this affects us, the CRTC, this whole new thing with the CRTC where podcasts and all these streaming services have to register. I don't know. I'm getting inundated with emails saying, are you guys going to register your podcast? Are you guys going to register? Not that anybody even hears this thing, but like,
Yeah.
How does that affect you guys though? Because that is the new rule now, right? That everything has to be registered.
I don't know what the new rule is. I heard it's like you got to make over 10 million. And although we're close, Marty,
We're
very close.
They're just trying to obviously, prevent the big corporations from, having the type of control that they do and having the type of information spread the way they do. And they want to be able to protect Canadian journalism and everything else like that by having them compensated fairly for their articles and stuff like that. Like, I don't totally disagree with the policies and stuff like that. We are not affected by it. We're not affected by it. We can basically talk about these articles for free as long as we want, and no one's going to stop us, I guarantee you.
Some of it is comical. I was just in Vegas last weekend and I really enjoyed being able to see all of the Canadian news again on Instagram while I was in Vegas.
Oh, is it
Second
different?
back in Canada, it's all gone.
Crazy. Did you go to that big round thing?
Beer?
Yeah.
We've seen it. That is quite the setup.
It looks
But
cool.
they're in the middle
Wow.
of setting up for the F1 race down there right now.
Oh my God. That thing is crazy. Can you imagine how do you pencil that real estate deal? Okay. We're going to build the biggest eyeball of all time with $8 billion worth of LEDs.
And it doesn't make any money, but people will come to see it and they'll spend money at our other casinos.
Over TikTok. Okay. It's going to be all over TikTok. And that's about it.
Yeah. But they build fast in Vegas. Like, it's really sad, the environment that we've got here for construction. I don't know if it's the same. Like in Calgary, is that the same where, people complain about how long it takes to be able to actually build something?
Oh, absolutely. Unless there's a fine line always. Like if you have the money, you can build it as fast as you want.
Really?
See, not in Toronto.
Not in Toronto.
Doesn't matter how much money you got.
Yeah.
No. How
much more money
not even
do you
going to
need
put
there?
a shovel in the ground. It doesn't matter how much money you have.
Yeah.
And when you do
Gotcha.
start building, again, you can't afford to throw all of your money at it because you'll lose money because it's already too expensive to build. Try building
Yeah.
downtown. Think about what it's like to build in downtown Toronto. You got to close streets. You got to,
You got to pay for police
service
to be there every day,
right?
for
You
5
gotta
years.
bring, like, anything you want to do. You're not just upgrading your property, you're upgrading all the things around you. Like, it's just like, it's a nightmare to deal with.
And you have to save the historic fronts of the buildings that were built in the 20s, right? That can barely stand on their own.
There's
and
a
look
ton
like
of that.
shit.
There's a ton of shells still up right now that they're building, and it's
millions.
Just like, stupid.
You know how many affordable units go into like just shoring together and keeping structurally sound this fucking facade that nobody gives a shit except for 3 women on the heritage committee? But seriously, think about it. You spend, let's say, listen, for the developer, it's a line item on the budget. You spend $4 million keeping this thing up. But how many units can get built for that 4 million if they just let you level that shit and put up a new building that looks kind of like it even?
Yeah.
Right? Like, recreate it is nothing. It's just like a building cost. But
or
like,
just name the building after it.
Something. But
do
like,
something.
literally, you got these 4 Bettys sitting there going like, we're gonna make our heritage registry and make sure that the, like, fine, in the 20s, it's okay. Nobody needed the fucking land. But guess what? Like, we need the land now, right? Unless you want to go travel from Hamilton, or like soon they're going to take a train from Calgary to get downtown Toronto for their job because they drove to qualify so fucking far. We got to like shuttle people like from Calgary, right?
100%. We got a high-speed train
High-speed train, 20
from
minutes
Alberta
from
to
Calgary.
Ontario soon. Like 100%.
In a tunnel, right?
I don't know how long it's going to take. Yeah. With the oil. Yeah,
well,
right next
maybe
to
we
it.
don't need the oil anymore. Can you imagine? Okay, what would happen in Calgary, literally, if they just like had replaced oil,
greened
or
out the whole
natural
world,
gas?
and we're like, we don't need
No
oil
more.
and natural gas anymore. Solar power, we figured it out. Nuclear,
2030.
don't need oil anymore. Petroleum products
It'll
are
be a
dead.
bad day here.
Bad day, right?
Yeah.
Is
I don't think they'd be
everybody
so
in
happy paying
oil there?
1.3 for that duplex anymore?
Like, is
It's
it like
so
50-50 oil people and real estate people there? Like, what else is going on in Calgary?
It's still probably 70-30.
Which one's 70? Oil?
Oil and gas.
Really?
Yeah.
But
There's
now
so
I
much
guess,
to buy.
but now that prices have kind of started going bananas, are people talking more about real estate? Like, everywhere you go, it's like, oh yeah, because here in Toronto, even in the down market, like if you go to a restaurant, you turn to your right, turn to your left, like somebody's talking about real estate. So
I think in Calgary it's oil, and price of barrel of oil is up, so they're all probably talking oil again. You're probably
right,
thinking,
yeah.
It's always oil and gas, but a lot more real. I mean, well, honestly, for me, my world always ends up being in real estate because that's all we deal with is realtors and clients, right?
Yeah.
But it is a constant discussion, just cost of everything right now, right? Whether it be the groceries, your oil, your gas. You know, Calgary has higher utility costs than Edmonton does, so everybody wants to complain about that. You get out into the rural properties, sometimes it's even cheaper in the rural properties, and it's all transfer rates and everything else, and it just drives everybody crazy, right? You look at your gas bill, and the gas bill itself, your usage is cheap. It's the riders and taxes and fees,
delivery
and fees that drive it all up.
What the hell is this delivery charge anyways? Like, they fucking put the pipe in 50 years ago in this house. Where's the delivery? It's like they just kept the tap open.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on here? Hold on. I got a question. And this is a serious question. TK. Like, there was an inspection that came with my house. We bought it in not the peak of the market, but it was peakish, close to peakish. It was a crazy environment. Like, you didn't get to like think.
Interest rates are 2%. The bottom line.
Yeah, even less. I think people were
interest rates.
Interest tied up for
it. It was called the free money period.
It was a crazy time, but it came with an inspection report. Okay, and so I mean, I guess we took it in as is, where is condition, because it was a firm offer and a bully offer and a bullshit and all blah 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 blah. But like, we relied on the home inspection as part of the reason why we were able to go firm, right? It was presented to us as a tool to help people go firm in the environment that we were in, right? But it turns out that the inspection was total fucking horseshit. And there was a lot of shit that we uncovered.
There's a few things that were like whatever, like could have happened and, you know,
normal
missed or
shit,
maybe,
yeah.
you know, overlooked or whatever. But
some flagrant fouls
on
here,
the roof,
man.
The tarp on the roof
just so happened to be like the only picture of the roof that wasn't
they didn't take. There was
the...
a tarp on the one side. Yeah.
So you've seen some crazy shit in your time. I've seen videos of it, but I know I needed a roof when I bought the place.
How much could, if somebody were to pay you and they say, Marty, look, you know, I'm going to pay you $5,000 to do this home inspection, and we're going to, you know,
just fucking turn the other way, bro.
You know, use the photos from the other house that you did. Don't
look at the right
you know,
side of the house. Don't look at the left side.
Not a big deal.
So that's the constant chatter on TikTok, of course, on a lot of the videos. Oh, the inspector's paid off, or the city's paid off, or this or that's paid off. I mean, the way I look at it, I've been in the trades now for 30 years. I've never once seen anybody get paid off for anything. Now, it's always the great urban myth.
You never know. Times are different. You know, people are desperate right now. They want to hide that asbestos.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I've had realtors that have asked me to not put certain items in a report. And my honest answer is, I'm not working for you, I'm working for the client. That's going in the report. So whether they buy this house or not, that's not on you.
They paid for the report and buried it, and they never ever gave it to anybody. They're like, shit.
Yeah, it can happen.
I wonder how many people doctor the document after they get it from the inspector so that like certain things are missing. Like maybe that
Marty
picture of the fucking roof.
He was just like, oh my gosh.
Seriously, imagine how many people go, I can't fucking have this in here.
Right? That's all you got to do. Page 26, 27, 29, 30, 31. Yeah.
How come it goes from 27 to 35?
Yeah, don't worry about those pages.
Yeah. Oh, listen, nothing in today's world would surprise me anymore.
Yeah.
People, like I used to think that, I'm old enough now, I've pretty much, I can't really be surprised as often. I get surprised every day.
Every day, for sure. If you're going up in attics, I just saw your video of you going up in an attic. And I like, how the hell that so he goes up in the attic and there's like live wires in the sea of attic insulation just like left there on a tile. Like they put a ceramic tile because that is going to save the day, right?
It's not conductive.
The best on that one is they actually they tied in a piece of coax into the live electrical to transfer some power.
It's like,
sure.
what?
Yeah. Where else are you going to get it from?
But you did say in another video, like if it works, is it wrong, or like something to that effect? But like that, I remember when I used to build, it was like people would tell you how to do it, and I would be like, there's not just one way to fucking do it. I'm sorry. Like there's so many ways to frame the same wall properly, right? Even though there isn't, but there's guys do one cut different here than there, and it's still cool, but it's not the way that I would have done it.
Yeah, and there's many ways to do it exactly the right way within code. It just also might be done 10 different ways, right? Like there's 12 different ways to wire a 3-way switch in a house, which is crazy. You would think you go to check on one or go to change the switch out, and you're like, well, I need to talk to the original electrician because I have no idea how this was done.
Have you ever like turned on a switch and the house starts like smelling like smoke?
Well, listen, you'll turn on a switch, you'll hear something buzzing, you'll see, like, it's some of the stuff that you find is just, I was in a home probably about 6 months ago now, down in the basement, and I go to check the main power panel. I look up, all the grounds have been cut off the panel. So I've got a 100 amp panel I'm looking at with no cover plate on it that's completely ungrounded. And then as I'm standing in there, I'm kind of like, you can smell some natural gas. Well, there's a natural gas leak at the furnace. So like I'm just in like the perfect scenario of everything going sideways.
Oh my God.
Close it back upstairs, call the listing agent, be like, hey, this is what's going on. So
I wonder if they fixed it after.
I don't know. And the shame of it was on that property in particular, it was headed towards foreclosure. So I don't know if there was something going on in there or not.
Oh, Marty
But,
busted them in the middle of the plan.
but it was that's the worst one that I've
Who
come
called the
across. Where I'm just like,
inspector? You
What?
idiots! What are you doing? Why'd you
It's
call the inspector
2:25. You better get out of there quick.
that's the closest I felt to just being like, oh my God, something like this is very, very bad.
There was
I
a
need
house
to
that
get
did
rid of
that when I was young. Like now we're talking about I don't know if this is happening or not in Calgary, but people are lighting their houses on fire while they're being built
To avoid
by the
closing.
builders to try to avoid closing, which, you know, is yet to be seen if this is even a good strategy or not. But
Is
there was,
that going on there?
right? I don't know if
Well,
that's happening in
it's
Calgary.
not proven, but
Yeah.
it's not the builders for sure.
Yeah.
It's like the one guy lit that one house on fire. I would go and just ask him a few questions to see where he was on Saturday night, because I'm sure it's going to lead to something.
Yeah.
But I
if
remember
the
when
builders-
I was a kid, I was like 9, 10 years old. I'm sleeping over at my friend's house. We heard this big boom. And my friend's dad was a cop, and he was like, what did you guys do? Right. And we're like, nothing. What's going on? And so it was such a loud noise. He said, come with me. So we jumped in the car, we drove, and then like, because he was so investigative, he like drove like north, and we kept driving, and then he saw some lights, and then he kept going. And then we were like right at the line and everything else, because the police had battered it off. He had to ask questions and all that kind of stuff. And somebody had gone on vacation and set off some sort of home contraption in order to be able to blow up their house for whatever reason. Right. And it was like very obvious what they had done, and they were all on vacation,
shit.
and all the fire marshals found out how they did it, and the guy ended up getting charged, and whatever his situation was. Right. But that is something that people do. It's that
my
desperate
God.
action. Right. And it's maybe not to like, sometimes maybe to commit other crimes, but usually it's just this insurance part where they, they can't pay their bills anymore or whatever, and blowing up the house is the best idea they could come up with. So
Haven't had any
Marty,
we
look
know
out for
of
those.
in Calgary.
Yeah. Not yet, but
Maybe
wait.
it only happens here in Toronto.
No,
Maybe
it's
just-
going to happen in Calgary. Listen, there's a reason Calgary is booming right now. It's all the idiots still need somewhere to put their money, right? And it makes the most sense, just like you were saying before, because it's like Vancouver's too expensive too. Montreal's too expensive too. So like, what's the next best big city in Canada? It's Calgary, right? And Calgary's like getting cooler. Like it's getting a cachet about it that it's like a cool place to go live now, and it's cheaper. So, I mean, maybe in 2 years, they're going to have to start considering Nunavut as the next cool
if
place.
global
'cause
warming
Calgary's
is real,
expensive.
Calgary is going to be booming. If global warming is real, and all of a sudden now in the wintertime, it's only going to be like -10 there, get ready, Marty. You guys are going to need some subways and, some more real estate agents. You don't nearly have enough real estate agents. That's for sure.
Well, we've only got 7,300, I think, right now.
That's
Do you know
nothing.
Justin
It's not even-
Haver? Yeah.
What?
So he's like the top Remax agent in Calgary.
Yeah, they're the biggest Remax. Well, they're one of the biggest Remax teams in the country.
Yeah.
So no, we actually, we deal with them
You deal with them?
weekly. Yeah.
Yeah. They're a
That's
busy
good.
team. They do
So
like high volume.
Marty's a
Yeah.
good guy. You can tell. So I guess does the TikTok thing work for business, or is it just for fun, or is it actually driving
so-
traffic?
I honestly started that a year ago because we deal with so many young realtors that they kept at me like, listen, you just need to put content on TikTok. And I'm like, I'm too old to put stuff on TikTok. They're like, no, just do it, just start it. So, we're a year in now. And
Ah.
honestly, we book probably 5 inspections a week off of TikTok.
Wow.
And we've gotten 9 million views on videos.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I
Keep
mean,
doing
it
it.
is an absolute game changer for business. And what it's done is kind of allow people to see kind of the inside of what goes on in the process and see,
Mhm.
this is what you're actually getting with your new home. This is some of the stuff that you never thought to look at. You assume
better-
that you bought new and everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it's not.
You better get a fucking inspection by somebody other than
Well,
the
they
builder.
trust you, right? They see that you're finding the stuff, and so they're like, and you're being honest about it. So they're like, this guy's going to do that job for me, and that's what they want.
Yeah, but it's opened up a lot of eyes to what people assumed they were buying to the reality of, this is what I might have actually got.
Oh,
Yeah.
if
You're
people
probably the only home
only
inspector
knew.
on TikTok.
No, there's a couple other guys, but they're not like funny like Marty is, and they're not. There's just a different like vibe you get off of Marty's
you
videos.
gotta
That's
be
at least what
TikTok.
attracted me to his
Ish.
videos, because there's a few other guys that show deficiencies, but there's like his way, his
They
way.
got to keep some levity to it, right?
Sure.
And you got to keep it kind of, put the information out, but also have a little bit of humor, right? And so,
Yeah.
I love to say that things are done by good enough construction and they're consistently shitty.
They're consistently
People
shitty.
tend to get
That's
a
for
kick out of
sure.
that.
Good enough is always good enough, like it's
Good enough is always good
100% of
enough.
the time
Right.
good enough. Yeah.
That's the name of the. It's good
Well, the
enough.
fact that you jumped on our skit with us today was
I knew he would. I
impressive,
knew it. I knew it.
because this is
He's
high
got
production
boundaries
over here,
though,
right?
so it's okay.
We
He's
high
got some
production over here,
boundaries.
so
He turned down
They're
the
very
first
thin,
part.
but they are there.
He turned down the first part. I don't
turn on the
blame
other
him.
video on our other channel. Yeah, but that's okay. The Canadian real estate show is not so bad.
But thank you, sir.
Well, listen, we appreciate, you guys even reaching out to us. So it's, love the conversation.
Hey, listen.
happy to have
Sometimes
you,
you
Marty.
bigger guys have to help pull us smaller guys out of the
9 million views.
Right?
We're like, approaching.
Can't even get anybody to watch our TikTok.
100.
Like our TikTok's a bloody joke. But anyways, Mr. Marty, thank you very much. It was great to meet you. I feel like I already knew you, but thank you. Thank you for your help with the skit. What is the name of your TikTok channel for everybody? How do we find you? So say it again, because I cut you off for a change. Sorry.
Under Nook and Cranny Home Inspections on TikTok.
Nook and Cranny. And he gets into every nook and cranny he can fit himself into. I saw him get stuck in an attic hatch once. That was kind of funny.
The hips don't lie.
The hips don't lie. I tried to okay, here, I'm going to give you a scenario and I want to see if you can figure this out. Okay? And then we'll let you go. So, I built a house and on the main floor, okay, so you had the house, and then above this family room, there was the master ensuite with like tons of plumbing, ridiculous amounts of plumbing. It was a big, expensive luxury house. And underneath it on the main floor, every once in a while, this bubble would form in the ceiling, right? And then it would disappear. And then it would form and it would disappear. And I noticed that it came when the rain came. But I couldn't figure out what it was. And I tried all the plumbing. It was water. Eventually it popped and water dripped on everybody. And it was a whole lot of fun. They paid a lot of money for this house. They were not impressed, but I couldn't figure it out. And I opened up all the plumbing. I had inspectors there and everybody there. Nobody could ever figure out what it was. And I ripped apart like bricks. I thought maybe it's coming in through brick ties. Like I tried everything. And I'll tell you after what it ended up being. But I'd love to know, if you heard this scenario, where would you look? And what would you come up with?
So obviously with today's technology, the easiest thing to start with, run all the water and everything, check with a thermal camera underneath it, see if there's anything from that. If nothing shows up with that, then for me, I would probably head to the roof, check any of the venting on the roof and see if there's any chance of water or if the venting's not done properly during a rainfall. If any water is coming back down through any piping on the roof. And then the envelope of the house would be.
See, Marty would have found it. Marty would have found it. But it took for, like, I must have had 4 people go there, inspectors. I had like everybody on the earth. And one day, just so happened.
The test, Marty.
He passed the test. But one day I just went up into the attic and I was like, I don't even know what took me up there. And I looked towards the skylight and I saw this little tiny bit of light, like a piece of caulking was missing in the corner of the skylight. Okay. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So next time it rained, I went back into the attic and I saw through this tiny, like I'm talking a pinhole in the caulking, down the skylight, down the truss, across the bottom of the truss, across the top plate of the wall, down the wall, through the whole second floor. It bypassed the second floor and came out in the main floor ceiling of the family room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, water's fun.
Yeah.
You can get anywhere.
That motherfucking water, man. The bane of my existence. The reason I stopped building is anxiety over rain at night.
I know a guy who bought a house. It was a new build. It was 7 years old. It was up north somewhere. And he got an inspector. The inspector came in, did the work. Everything was fine. He said, great house, 7 years old. Should be no problem. So then all of a sudden he had some water coming in one day. And then he found out that the upstairs had some sort of issue. There was like a roof, maybe like a flat roof, or there was something, there was like an ice damming, and it, it caused some water penetration. And then it went down this like main column of the home into this other part of the basement. And it was just like this huge thing. And the water was so saturated that it was just like this major job in order to be able to fix it. So it was like 6 figures. I don't know. He had to fix it. Right. And he sued the sellers. I don't know what the outcome is. I should call him and find out, but he sued the sellers to find out because he started to unpeel everything. And then he found some like Tyvek, like vapor barrier or something like that was, let's say the house was built in 2003. The vapor barrier said like 2011 on it. So it was like he knew that they had opened up the walls to try to fix this, but couldn't. And then they just patched it all back up and sold the property. And in the APS that he bought, it wasn't through me, it was up north. It was like sold as is, no warranties, representations, da 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 da. So we have this issue in law that's a latent material defect, which is something that is a buyer can't see, and no reasonable effort could determine it, and that it should be disclosed. And so it becomes, is that something that the sellers didn't disclose? So he took them to court. So I'll let you guys know next week what the outcome was. Yeah.
Oh, we need to
find
sue.
out.
Can I sue the inspector, Marty, if he concealed something?
I mean, it's happened, right? Or stuff gets missed, right? I always tell people, honestly, for me, if I wanted to inspect a home, I want to go on the coldest day of the year or the wettest day of the year.
Wettest day. Yeah.
Right? Like everything looks good in plus 30 in August.
Right.
Right. So, you can't find, exterior wall deficiencies. If any moisture issues are dry, the house looks amazing. And I guess the biggest thing for people to understand too is that we're there for a window of time. So our inspection is basically done in a 3-hour period, and it's a snapshot of the home in that 3 hours.
Yeah.
If something happens outside of that, well, we have no way of knowing what it does when it rains if it's not raining when we're there.
Right.
So you have to do, you got to put your investigative hat on as best you can, but then at the same time, you don't know if somebody's repainted a wall or if they've kind of thrown a bucket up in the ceiling that you can't see. So, I mean, those are the latent defects that happen with people, and they just leave it like that and hope that you don't find it. Right. And then, a year down the road, if you do some more renos, then you can kind of find some of those issues, but then you're dealing with, you're trying to go back to the original seller.
Can you sue the seller for concealing that kind of stuff?
You can sue anybody for anything. It's just, are you going to win or not? But if it's a latent material defect and the seller didn't disclose it, and you can prove they had knowledge of it, then yeah, that's something that's more than enough grounds to sue them. Absolutely.
Oh my God, we got a case here. This is what I need right now. Another lawyer.
There's a difference between latent and patent. Patent is if you went on the roof, you would have saw it. So therefore, you didn't go on the roof.
Yeah, but what if it was the drains are like redirected under the house and fucked up on purpose?
Then you have to prove that they know. Yeah, you have to prove that they know.
Yeah. It's the fun game of proving anything, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. And even if you prove it, everybody's broke. You can't get anything, or it's like in somebody else's name or some bullshit. The whole system's fucked from top to bottom. Marty, that's a perfect place to leave things off, I think, right? Perfect. Good to meet you, sir, again.
Nice to meet you as well.
Thank you very much. And hopefully we'll have you back again. That was good. That was
Thanks,
fun.
Marty.
Thanks, guys.
Adios. TK, have a good day.
You too.
Please subscribe. And
well,